yeah, we'll cut that out. All right.
So we're sauced.
We're about 4 or 5 beers deep into the stratosphere, as they say. Today we're doing another switcherooski for you. We have the beer first, and then we pair the pedal after. Scott once again gave me the task of picking the beer first, and then he brings in the pedal. And once again, he just, it's like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, this pedal for sure. I was like, right, asshole, it only takes me like 30 minutes to an hour at the beer store to just be like, honey, what do you think of this? Will this work? No? Okay.
No, I know we gotta be at Karen's at 7 o'clock. I get it, but I really need help here.
We're trying to get this right, honey.
If we don't show up with something, we're just gonna look bad to the rest of the family.
But I just saw this beer on the shelf. I was like, oh yeah, we gotta get another classic old school beer into the mix.
Absolutely.
Not just all these new school who's and what's it's. And I saw Westmalle's Tripel. It's one of the kind of benchmarks for the style. Actually, is the benchmark for the Belgian triple style. It is I don't know if you know this. It is technically the world's first triple.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, you think it would be super old, hundreds of years, eons ago. It was first brewed in 1934.
No way.
1934, not that old in beer history, but up until then they were brewing singles and doubles.
And so they wanted to get that triple X going, right?
Yeah, the triple X to get even more turned. Now they have quadruples, and I've even seen some, American brewers do the quintuples. I'm like,
I was going to ask if that's actually a thing. So I do have to ask though. I did hear on the Wikipedia.
Praise be to Wikipedia.
Praise it all. Oh. If something is called a Trappist ale, it has to be made at a Trappist monastery, correct?
Yeah, monastery/brewery.
Monastery/brewery. Okay.
I think that it's called by practicing devout Cistercian monks, or I like to playfully call them crustacean monks.
Or are they sister monks?
No, they're.
You said Cistercians.
I know, but it's to see you prick. But like Catholics do, they just don't let women have any power or like be involved. But please, yeah. You don't want to be too offensive. Yeah,
anyway.
Crustacean monks.
Crustacean monks. They're crusties.
And there are, I should have looked this up, there are maybe 13 Trappist monastery breweries now.
In the world?
In the world. There's even one in the U.S., Spencer, up in Massachusetts.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, basically, long story short, the Trappist label, it has to be brewed by a certain type of monk, this Cistercian, if I'm saying that right, type of monk, and it at least has to be overseen and brewed by. I mean, obviously, in today's day and age, the beer is not completely 100% brewed by these type of monks. They have obviously had to bring in secular people from the outside to help them make all this beer, because these beer styles have gotten more and more popular since the early 1900s. We Americans drink a lot of them, and then American brewers also make a lot of them too. And then there's breweries over still in Belgium that make these kinds of styles, but they aren't overseen or owned by monks, and it's not benefiting a monastery.
Okay.
But if it's Trappist, yeah, it's overseen by monks, benefiting the certain monastery.
Cool. So like Chimay is one of them, right?
Yeah, Chimay is also one of the more well-known Trappist breweries. They make great beer.
But another one that's kind of deceiving. Which one did you say?
Like St. Bernardus is not, like, you've seen St. Bernardus ABT or ABT 12, I don't know, quadruple.
But St. Bernardus, not a
They're
Trappist.
not Trappist, they're secular, kind of banking on that Trappist wave of like, ooh, it's brewed by monks, and it's still pretty cool. Like, you see pictures of Trappist breweries, and these monks are just in the brew house wearing their robes. It's quite the image.
Friar Lawrence is doing the whole dry hop bit. It's great.
Yeah, he's just doing keg stands on the brew stand. It's pretty
ye old keg stand, I think is what they call it.
I think it historically stems from their tradition of fasting, having to fast, and or maybe eating one meal a day. So they would supplement that with stronger, really bready, intense beer to kind of hold them over between that kind of one meal or no meals a day or whatever.
Wait.
Oh, that was
a liquid death burp.
That was like a liquidy and deathy.
Yeah, so that was a liquid death. So speaking of churches, Liquid Death. That's a great company. It's the last thing to quench your blackened soul.
It'll sustain your life until you die. Liquid Death.
Recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. Aluminum cans, way better for the environment. So let's taste the beer and get some notes.
Right on.
So I'm curious.
Cheers.
Oh, sorry. Cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. It tastes like that.
Yeah, it does. Man, I really don't know what to say about this. I mean, it's funky.
It's a triple.
It's a triple, but it's funky, but not sour funky. So it's just got this funkiness to it. It's like, I'm not getting the fruit. I'm kind of almost getting, I don't even know what I'm getting.
It's okay. Belgian yeast is weird.
Yeah, help me out here.
It veers on the edge of wanting to be funky Brett, but it's quite not. And there is a Belgian brewery, like Orval is also Trappist, and they're like kind of the outlier. They historically use Brettanomyces yeast, wild yeast.
Okay.
Or they basically just found it in their process, and they really just kind of, it's kind of one of their hallmarks of their flavor. But most other Trappist breweries don't. They just use Belgian yeast, no wild yeast, or at least they use mostly domesticated ale yeast.
Am I off course with saying this is funky?
No, but it's that's the thing with Belgian beers. They're funky-ish, but they're not full-on Brett funky.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
they're
But
not-
it's
they're not-
okay to put funky up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna leave funky up there.
Yeah. And funky, using the descriptor funky because it's just hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's not sour. It's not horse blanket. It's just got this funk to it.
You break down Belgian yeast kind of funkiness to being like fruity and spicy.
I can get the spice.
Yeah.
I get the spice.
The thing with
I like it the spice.
That's the thing with
Jack Black love us.
like triples in particular are kind of it varies, but at least what Westmalle is going for, it kind of boosting the spice level, the phenolics or the phenols, more the clovey, cinnamon, kind of almost baking spice, but intermixed in there is the fruity esters.
I'm getting more fruit than I am spice for this.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to have a big nose of banana and apple and pear. But you're
apple. That's what I'm getting.
But you're not getting as much banana as a Hefeweizen or right off the bat.
Or a Weizenbach, which we had
Weizenbach last
2 weeks ago.
Last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Belgian yeast they kind of have even more like a phenolic spicy punch.
Like I'm getting more of that apple pear side of things. Mm-hmm. And some of the
like
spice,
for me it's super pear, like spiced pear.
It's kind of exactly.
You're sautéing pears in like brown sugar.
Yes.
And you sprinkle some cinnamon and cloves, baking spices type stuff, nutmeg on it, and you're just tossing that, and then you're just right in your gullet. That's probably the best pairing.
Yeah.
Like food pairing wise, I could pair for this beer. Emulate that flavor.
You're on the money there. That's because I was really having a tough time trying to figure out what the hell I was getting through this.
Yeah, and Westmalle even said on their website they have different sized bottles. They have a bottle that fills the regular Westmalle glass, but they said even like the beer, I guess, ages differently in the larger bottles. And then here's what they said. They say in larger bottles, the beer matures in a different way. The fruity aromas are milder with a greater touch of ripeness, hence like the apple pear.
Mm-hmm.
And the beer takes on a subtle hint of vanilla. Let's search for that vanilla in there.
I'm not smelling it.
Not as much. It's really Liquid Death.
Drink responsibly, as in a lot of it. I'm not smelling it, but I bet
I mean, if the pear and the apple and the spices weren't there, I bet the vanilla would be there. I think vanilla is just supporting all of that.
Yeah. So I can see that vanilla is probably maybe in there. I'm just not getting like a big punch of vanilla.
Also, triples mean kind of like it's, originally how it was defined is triple the ingredients you would normally use to make a beer.
What's the ABV on this again?
And once again, it's like 2 weeks ago, it's like, oh, that's a blonde ale. But, I mean, yeah, it's actually, it packs a lot of punch, triples do normally. This is clocking in at 9.5%. So, yeah, there's even quadruples out there that are 9.5% and above. So that's pretty hefty for, even for a triple, I'd say.
All right, y'all. So, Ryan, we've gone through the beer. I think everything through it. So,
said probably too much about it. I always do.
Hey, so it's okay. So we're gonna pair this with a pedal, and so what I brought to pair with this is this. I got it right this time. No clothes falling off or anything.
Yeah, it's clean. Clean entry.
Thank you. So this is the Boss CE2W. I know what you're gonna say. It's Boss. It's a cheap pedal. No, this thing's pretty freaking expensive because made in Japan. It is a recreation of the original.
Is Boss based in Japan?
Yes, they were originally based in Japan. There's a lot of originally they had this chorus. I think some other.
Basically, just Japan, technologically superior to everyone.
Pretty much. So since we all grew up with Boss pedals. The thing with this is these are made in Japan. Normal Boss pedals are made in Taiwan or Korea. I think some were made in Korea. Pedal nerds, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really remember, but I know for sure most Boss pedals, if not all of them you get, are going to be made in Taiwan. But these are made in Japan. The Wazacraft series, they originally weren't. They were still made in Taiwan and inspected in Japan. They have since, for the Wazacraft, moved them to solely Japanese-built pedals. So I picked this because it's a classic. It's like yawning. It's like yawning. You fucking got me on that. So I picked this pedal because I believe it's going to be a classic, very sweet tone that will pair with this beer. So we're going to pair this, but first, we have beers in hand, but I think y'all deserve a good hardcore pour.
You want this. You want this. We had one beard hair or 15 of them just sticking up. This is not weird.
No, not at all. This is great. I'm having a good time.
Okay.
So,
it's bothering me.
Welcome back, y'all. That hardcore pour was pretty nice. It was pretty cerebral, pretty thought-inducing.
Pretty nice, pretty tasty, pretty ethereal, pretty.
We're just going to dive into this. There's not much to this pedal. So, made in Japan, Boss. We all know Boss. It has 2 knobs, rate and depth.
Boss is kind of one of the biggest pedal makers out there.
If not the biggest.
The biggest. Okay, just for your non-pedal nerds, it's if you were to equate this to a brewery.
Fucking Budweiser.
Seriously?
Yeah. They started
AB InBev of pedals.
Yeah,
right
they. You know what? No. I'm gonna redact that statement.
Okay.
It's like Coors. So
nice.
So
they still have some dignity.
Yes, they have some dignity because for those of you, those beer nerds that have ever had the wonderful pleasure of having the Barman's Pills in their life.
Yeah.
By Coors, this is your Barman's Pills.
Yeah, Barman's Pills is the small, there's still a small batch brewery within Coors, and they make beers for them, for the staff and the brewers, and they only have this Pills for them. And
in Golden,
Colorado, more or less.
Sorry, I said that wrong.
Maybe Colorado, or in Denver a little bit, but we digress. It's some beautiful Pills and shows that a big company can still make really good nuanced beer.
And this is the exact comparison to that. This is newer made in Japan stuff, not the inspected in Japan, but the made in Japan stuff. This is really freaking awesome.
Damn, if I could get Barman's Pills, I would have gotten that beer for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think still the sound is going to match this better, I think, than a Barman's Pills. Because, I use this word so much, but lush, I know it is.
That's fine.
But it's a chorus pedal. So we talked about chorus.
Choruses are lush.
Oh,
a lot of times.
Oh, yeah. So we talked about this a few weeks ago. Chorus pedal is this really nice, almost detuned sound. So I'm going to break this pedal down a little bit. We have rate and depth. We have this little dip switch right here. It says S, CE1, and then an unlabeled third option. I'm really not going to go through all of that when I play it, but I'll tell you this. The standard, the S, which means standard, that means it's replicating the CE2 original circuit. The next one is the CE1. So the CE1 is like another chorus unit that was like super original Boss before the CE2.
Back in the day.
So it was huge. It was like, I mean, it was that fucking big. It was gigantic. And so what they did with this third switch is they kind of combined the two CE1 and CE2 together.
Nice.
So you have the
1 + 2 = 3. So they made the CE3. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Well, the CE3. Not to be too nerdy here.
It's okay. Here we go.
But there is a CE3 pedal, and it sounds nothing like these two.
Oh,
so,
fuck.
I know, I'm that guy. So we're just going to go with the CE2 original format. This is my clean tone. So that's my clean tone. Quilter Mini 101 through closed back cab. Now we're going to hear the affected tone of the CE2, CE2W. So it's really big.
Yeah.
For a chorus pedal, it's just big sounding.
Super chorusy.
It's that sound. Like, that's what Kurt Cobain was fucking using back in the day.
Come, everybody come.
Come on yourself.
That is lush.
So why I'm wearing the plaid and the freaking like puffy vest
In Texas, in summertime, like an idiot.
like an idiot, and my house is not AC right now. This is really hot.
Yeah.
So it's that 90s tone. It just is. It's
Early 90s.
very early 90s.
Yeah, almost late 80s.
You know what? Like,
90s.
I mean, even this might have been used on Twin Peaks. You know,
Possibly.
What is it?
Yeah, like the theme from Twin Peaks.
So like, it's just all of that.
Yeah,
Like,
I gotta say this. Yeah, this pedal's a damn fine cup of coffee.
Absolutely. So, tone notes on this. I'm going to reuse it, but lush, large. It's like, I know we're going to say wet, but
It's wet.
but watery. It's kind of got this watery flow to it.
Ethereal, almost. It's weird, but like the beer and the pedal, it's like kind of. But they're both like angelic in a way. Just like a chorus of angels in a sense.
I just don't know if it's like getting the funkiness that I was.
Yeah, it doesn't have that funkiness. This beer is almost kind of too funky for the pedal in a way. It's like it's got a lot of flavor. But I was thinking, I mean, I picked the beer first. So that's on you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's a beer that has a lot of flavor.
It is.
And this has got more flavor than you think. So it's like, once again, you look at this kind of unassuming label. It's old school. It's boring looking. Once you open up, pour the glass, put it in your gullet. It's got some flavor.
It does.
For sure.
And you know, like
just like kind of like this pedal.
But we have to be honest with ourselves. Like I'm personally, I'm not feeling this grabs all the depth that's in this beer.
Sure.
That's just me though.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
it's
need a
there.
more
It's
nuance.
more subtle.
Might even, it's more subtle.
If you had like a Belgian I don't know, like I don't know, is there a single? They call it a single, or they just call it like a?
Yeah, there is a Belgian single.
Or like I don't know. I just feel like.
But almost like those you see as like Belgian pale ales. I don't know. There's I've only seen a few like intentional Belgian singles.
Yeah.
You know, at places, but
I don't know.
I do see Belgian pale ales that just kind of have the Belgian flavor, but they're more just like less in alcohol, similar color.
Yeah.
Even a little lighter, more paler.
Yeah, I just don't know if this fully matches. But
it's fine. I was kind of going for
what would you rate it?
A 5 or a 6 for sure.
5 or 6. Okay.
But I was thinking, I was like, when I picked the beer and I saw that you picked this pedal, I was like, okay, classic beer, classic pedal, updated recipe on the pedal.
Yeah.
Updated recipe, which I didn't tell you.
Oh.
They first brewed this in 1934. They updated the recipe in like 1956, and they still go by that recipe now today.
Okay.
And I could see this. I could see the Trappist monks jamming out to this pedal.
Totally.
More or less in their cathedrals, you know.
Yeah.
Their big old cavernous, reverby.
Oh, that was horrible.
Monasteries.
Mm-hmm.
Or you probably. I mean, how many gospel or church bands do you think are using that pedal?
Oh, I mean, like if you're going gospel, then yeah, like. I mean, like that's funky,
that's the church I want to go to.
Yeah, like that's gospel music, but I mean, if you're gonna like, fucking that motherfucker.
Yeah, gargoyles.
No, that's more like. It's like, and it's not quite there. Like, even I tried to do something ethereal and very much.
So, what you're saying is, if this is not my fault, this is on you.
This is my fault. Yeah. So, okay. So you said 5 out.
So you have
so 5.5.
5.5. Let's go 5.5. You had the idea right, but you could have. I mean, on the pedal side, you could have got a little more funky, a little more flavor. Has some good amount of flavor.
Okay.
On the pedal, updated kind of classic thing. But
all right. Hey, well, you know what? Last week I was totally 10 out of 10. So you know what? Like, I'll take that extra 5 down.
It's fine. Yeah. It'll take you down a peg or two.
Just peg me. It's okay.
It's fine. No, I think you still did. I mean, I got the pairing right off the bat because, you know, classic beer, classic pedal. It has flavor, has some nuance. But this could use more flavor and nuance.
That's the thing, is it's just the sound of it. It just doesn't quite match. Like,
Sure.
when I play this pedal, I don't see it going with this.
Yeah. Probably a Belgian pale ale, or like it has aspects of Trappist Belgian beers, but not quite as intense in flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this is a lot, 9.5%.
Yeah.
This is not a super alcoholic pedal.
No, it's not. It's a little. It's on the lighter side. It's like more of a farmhouse.
I see where you're going though.
I think this is more of a farmhouse thing.
Yeah, lighter farmhouse beer, like Petit Prince from Jester King, maybe.
Le Petit Pro.
Le Petit Pro.
All right. Well, we did our best on this one, y'all. We won't strike gold every time, but you know what?
Nah.
I can settle for bronze. So
we're still drinking almost 10% beer.
So we're doing good. Celebrate yourselves. Search for that tone. Get funky, y'all.
Get funked up.